All right, well, welcome back to the Post Frame 360 podcast. I am one of your hosts, Scott Cragg, along with my super duper awesome co host, Josh Nowlin. Good morning, Josh.
Hey, good morning, Scott. Happy to be back here doing a podcast this morning.
Yeah, I know, right?
My
It's
favorite things. I love it.
yeah. So, guys, we record these a couple of weeks in advance, and I posted stuff that we've done 2 or 3 weeks ago just recently. So we ran out of material. So what you're getting here is we ran out of our backlog. But speaking of backlog, that's what we're going to talk about today. Title of today's episode is "When It Rains, It Pours," and let me tell you guys, there was a drought. I think we've all felt it. We've talked about it. Maybe you saw that in your business. Maybe you didn't, but I think you did. A little bit of a drought in sales. I know there was a lot of catch up. I think at the middle of the year, we were trying to catch up from all of the rainy season. We had some ice at the beginning of this year. Um, for me personally, it feels like this year's been a fight, man. It's just been a fight, business wise, just some personal interest. It's been a wild and crazy year, and I think I'm hopeful that we are on the other side of that because what we've seen in the past 2 to 3 weeks here at Burrows is, man, it didn't just start raining; it started pouring,
Hmm.
and we've got a backlog. We right now we aren't able to deliver buildings until November the 3rd, like complete packages, trusses, and all, because our truss department's backed up because we've got so many trusses in production. So that's kind of like a boom, just drop that on you. That's where we're
Hmm.
going to go
Hmm.
this morning, and we're going to freestyle a little bit. But I think for you guys that subscribe to our channel, that's what you get here is we really bring you into the pulse, the inner workings of what's going on at Burrows. And sometimes, we're trying to figure this stuff out as we go. And hopefully as we do, you find some value in it too. And also I think maybe one of the biggest things is you're not alone. I think sometimes whenever we're business owners and things are a little bit challenged, we get tunnel vision and we think it's just affecting me. But to hear from someone else say, "Oh no, we're struggling too, man. We're trying to figure this out." I think it helps us kind of maybe lock arms, grab oars, and paddle in the same direction together.
Hmm.
So that's where my head's at, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, the year as a whole, has been kind of slow. And I think we all could sit here and we've talked about some of the reasons
Hmm.
why, but I think nobody's been sitting around on their hands this year.
No, no.
And everybody's been trying and diversifying and trying new things and marketing differently and all these things, and us included. This podcast came out of this year,
Hmm.
which we love to do. And I think, things started to pick up recently, and there's just a ton of business came in all at once, and
Hmm.
it has affected our lead times. But I reflect on others in the industry, other businesses, other manufacturers, and as a whole, I think Burroughs sometimes has a little bit of tunnel vision. We we forget, that others in the industry have. I'm sorry about that. Longer lead times than we do now with our
Yeah.
extended lead times. So, you know, even in our busiest, you can I don't want to say worst times, but busiest times that a lot of things going on, we're still competing, still doing great things in the industry.
Yeah. Yeah. And a little bit of the business side of that, I know a lot of us have had to make, I don't want to say knee jerk decisions, but hard decisions, right? And again, if you listen to this podcast, you kind of know that I'm pretty transparent, man. I'm like a window with no grids. um, we had to make some decisions, and they were hard. We had to let one of our CSRs go, and just because, man, business was slow, right? And it's not something we wanted to do, but we were trying to protect the business. Obviously, we took care of that customer service representative. Delightful person, wasn't her fault. It was just she was new enough and still learning that if we were going to go down a person, we just needed as much experience as we could get, right? So for me, as her manager, God, that sucked. I mean, I'm just going to be transparent with you guys. Like, that really messed me up. It did,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
That was a hard thing to do. But that decision was made because, we sales were not good, right? And so maybe you found yourself in the same position. Maybe you had to let crew go. Maybe you lost crew because of some of the national decisions that are being made. Um, maybe sales were slow enough, and you decided to consider, hey, I'm gonna go over here and do this for a while, and then all of a sudden the spigot got turned on. And that's kind of where we're at, right? Like it wasn't just one CSR. We had to make some staffing adjustments just because we the business wasn't there,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Well, now the business is there. And I'm like, okay, now I don't have enough people, right? And that's one of the challenges of running a business, right? Like there's so much freedom in being a business owner, but there's also a lot of stress. And there's not really a handbook. There's guides, right? Like there's experience. Experience is the greatest teacher. And we have all learned from this, right? Like I've learned from this. I look at things differently. But the reason I give you that inside detail of kind of what's going on is you have to make sometimes hard decisions and you don't know if it was the right one or not. You,
Mm-hmm.
you, you do everything you can to say, is this the right decision? I believe so. With all the information I have, I believe so. And you make the decision, and then you may find out later, yeah, that was the right decision, or that wasn't the right decision, or we're going to still see. We're waiting to see if that was the right decision. But if the market's turned around, it's turned around for us. Okay. And we're hopeful this is sustaining. We're hoping this
Mm-hmm.
isn't like a bloop and then a bloop, you know. I hope if you're listening, you didn't order a bunch of buildings planning to get ahead of the winter and then everything's sitting on the ground for the next 4 months and you're building and then I don't see any orders. And you get a month down the road to your next job and you've got lumber on the ground that maybe has started to get some black stuff on it because you tried to get ahead of the game. I'm all for planning, guys. Plan ahead. And Josh, I want you to
Mm-hmm.
speak a little bit to the price lock and what that looks like. But here's what's important. We want to do everything we can to manage, forecast what's achievable. And we'll maybe get into that a little
Yeah.
bit more. But I want to pause there, Josh, because I know you've got some stuff to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, to go back to your planning, if you're dropping buildings on the ground months in advance, then you haven't listened to our podcast about scheduling because
Go back and
we
listen.
talked a lot about that and
Right.
the negative ramifications it'll have on your business if you do operate that way.
Hmm.
And so I wouldn't go down that road.
No, no,
But
don't
you
do that.
mentioned the price lock, and that historically Burroughs has been known as someone who, or our company who turns building packages super fast, and we had customers and that would hold their orders until they needed them and just all place the order. I know Burroughs can deliver in 3 or 4 days, no problem. Which sometimes we can still do that, but
Mhm.
it's absolute best practice if you have orders, if you have projects that are under contract, you
Mhm.
know that you're going to build, whether it's 3 weeks from now, 6 weeks, 12 weeks,
Mhm.
whatever your lead time is, send the orders in. Give
Yes.
us visibility to those orders. It'll help us, make sure we have, enough inventory when your order comes through, special order items. We can keep an eye on those. And you'd mentioned price lock. That's the other thing we offered is, if the price goes up, we
Mhm.
don't care.
Right.
We'll honor it. Occasionally, as our clients listening know, in the last few weeks, we've been able to lower prices on several SKUs. Um, we'll we'll honor that.
Mhm.
If the price goes down and you gave us the order, don't hold your order thinking, oh, the price might go down, so I'm going to wait. No, we'll honor that. So
Right.
there's
Right.
no reason not to hold. There's a lot more positive reasons to go ahead and place the order, get it queued up
Mhm.
for when you think you need it, and then when it's about to deliver, let us know if you're 3, 4, 5 days before it's supposed to deliver. You'll know if your crew's running behind or if the job site, the pad's not ready. Just
Right.
let us know. Give us a call. We can move the delivery date and
Mhm.
still hold that order, hold the price, hold everything.
Yes.
And it's a win-win-win all
Right.
the way
Right.
around. It's
Yeah.
very important, especially now.
Mhm. Yeah, that's great visibility, and I think about trust whenever I said we're backed up, 2.5 weeks now. and part of the reason that trust is backed up, if you think about it, so we've got three tables that we can work off of. We've got a set number of people in trust. But here's the thing, like, and I would encourage you, man, if you're listening to this and you never come out and done a tour, if you ever get a window, please call me. Like, call us. I want you to come see what happens here, right? Because whenever I was a builder, there were certain suppliers that I used, and I'd get frustrated. Part of it was my fault. I didn't plan well, right? I learned from that. I started to plan really, really well. But whenever I would go and see how they manufactured something, I was like, oh, they're not just trying to make my life hard. I have no idea what they do, right? I know, okay, a truss. I know how a truss is built. Yeah, you know how a truss is built, but do you know how a truss is built, right? Because there's processes to it. Like we have two large saws, right? These saws cut the angles on the top chord, the bottom chord, all this other stuff. So we have two saws. No, that's four, right? Two saws. Those saws can only do so much. And the more complicated the truss, the more cuts, the more webbing, the wider the truss, the taller the truss. So that is a bottleneck for us, is sawyers. Well, so if you're like, Scott, like 2 weeks, I can't get a truss for 2 weeks. It's not because we're not doing our job. It's not because we're inefficient. It's the demand has outpaced the equipment. Okay. And the reason why I tell you that is I want to go back to what Josh just said. When you order a job, so let's say I'm going to go with post frame construction. All right, post frame 360 construction. Let's work this out as a scenario here. So I'm the owner of post frame 360 construction. I presented a job to a customer, and they're like, Scott, we want to do business with you. When can you get that built? Well, right now I am booking out into January. I can do your building on January 15th of 2026. Oh, that's too far. I'm going to go look for someone else. Okay, that's fine. I mean, you can do that. Um, but I would say if you call someone up and they can build for you next week, why are they not busy? Okay, put that one in your back pocket. Like, seriously, if you're free to go do something next week, either you're just in a weird moment or you're not very busy. And if you're not very busy, why? Okay. So that's a topic for a different time, but let's throw it out there. So I can build for you January 15th of 2026. So I've got a contract in hand. I've got a down payment, and Burrows is my supplier. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put that money in my account. I'm going to make sure that money stays in my account. I'm not going to go spend it on something else. It stays in my account. And then I'm going to get that order turned in to Burrows CSR. Okay. It is 3 months from now. I didn't plan that, by the way, Josh, when I said January 15th.
That was perfect.
Yeah, man. So exactly 3 months from today. So I'm going to come back to my office tonight. I'm going to get some rest. I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to send my job over to my CSR. I'm going to say, hey, I got this job under contract today. I want to go and get that turned into you. I'm not building this job until January 15th. Okay. So as of right now, let's get this worked up. Let's get this locked in, send it over to me. And let's go ahead and put a ship date of January the 8th. Hopefully that's not a Saturday or Sunday. Okay. So that's what's going to happen, right? And you're like, whoa, like, why would I turn that in so early? Well, why wouldn't you? Now, you're like, well, Scott, that's beyond the price lock guarantee. It is. It is. But it's also one of those things that, like Josh said, we're going to honor certain things. We're not here to price gouge you guys, right? We're not here to go, oh, prices went up. We're going to charge you more for that, right? We're going to work with you. Work with us. We'll work with you. That's not the point. We are not here to lose our customers. All right, we're not. Um, but get that turned in, because that way it lets us plan, right? It lets us know, oh, hey, we got this job coming up on January 15th for Post Frame 360 construction. I'm going to call them 2 weeks out and say, hey, are you guys still ready for this job? How are things looking? Oh man, I'm so glad you called. We're actually running a little ahead. Can you get that for me next week? Well, we already planned for it. We've got materials. Hey, we've got your stuff cut. Absolutely. See how that works? Like,
Mm-hmm.
let us as your supplier and your partner in building partner with you. There's no harm. Josh said it. There is no downside to planning ahead. There is a downside to not.
Absolutely. 100%. I want to be clear, by the time our clients listen to this, we'll probably have our
Caught up.
trust backlog caught up, but it doesn't change this topic. It's very
No.
important, and the reason why we will have it caught up is because we can pivot. We can
Hmm.
accelerate up. We can add folks. We can do some overtime. We can do whatever we need to do. Um, but don't take your projects early. Let's prioritize the work today that has to be done today, and
Yep.
there's no
Yep.
reason to have materials sitting on the ground, things of that nature.
No.
It's important not to do that. And
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want, people make, you got materials laying out there and someone's great grandkid comes over, gets on the dirt bike and says, "Oh, that metal makes a great ramp," and then you get there and it's all bent up and tore up and everything like that. Something else I want to throw out there as I've reflected on this year. Uh, Actually, uh, I'm 2 days away from 1 year with Burrows. Um, Sorry, I'm a little scattered this morning. Squirrel. Um, Here's the thing: as I've reflected on our business this year, I know things got tough and things got tight, and I think some of our customers, because things were getting tight, they went to explore our competitors. And by the way, I don't think I know. Okay, here's what I want you to know: I don't care. Let me explain why I say I don't care. I don't care if you made that decision. Now, obviously, we miss your business. We care about you. We care about doing business with you. But if you were like, man, Scott, you talk about making business decisions, and I made a decision to go out and see if I could get stuff cheaper, and I did. Maybe you went to our competitor for metal and you found metal a little bit cheaper. Maybe you went to one of our competitors and man, they wanted your business and they gave you a smoking discount. Some of the things that I'm hearing, again, this is us being real. For some of our contractors that did that, yeah, they got some stuff cheaper. And even though I am dedicated to being as perfect as I can, I know we make mistakes. But some of the feedback that I've heard, and this makes me feel good. I'm never okay with making a mistake. Okay, I will always learn from it, but I'm not okay with making mistakes. We misshipped something. We shipped something short. Something got damaged. I don't like that at all. But something one of my contractors said is, I tried to go elsewhere, and yeah, I made an extra couple $1,000s profit. So I thought, once I actually started truing up the job and I had to go here to get this and I had to go there to get that. And then when my competitors made mistakes, they weren't quick to fix them. They spent a lot of time trying to figure out how it wasn't their fault. And that it feels good. It does. It feels good to know that even though our competitors want our business, and I get it, they're in business too, to know that we do things well. Even when we make mistakes, we fix our mistakes well. We may not be the cheapest. We're never going to try to be the cheapest. We want to be fair. We want to be honest. We are honest. We want to be fair with our pricing. But we also want to make a profit too, right? It's not an exorbitant profit. It's not, guys, it's not an exorbitant profit, but we have to stay profitable. And so I don't want to you know, get off the rails here. But the point of me telling you that is if you are one of those that said, hey, I tested out your competitors, don't be embarrassed to come back. Don't. Please don't. I mean, if you walk in the door and say, hey, guess what? I haven't done business with you guys in 3 or 4 months because I wanted to try something else and it worked for a little while, but it ain't working so well anymore. Can I come back? Hey, man, like a long lost lover, I'll take you back.
come on back.
Come on back, right?
Yeah.
No
Hmm.
harm, no foul, right? You may have made a decision and you're like, okay, that wasn't the greatest decision. It's okay. It's business. You do the best you can. And if you go, whoa, I took a wrong turn, it's never late to turn around and go back. Just, just,
Scott,
just, yeah.
you had mentioned, probably and won't be ever the cheapest. Who knows? Maybe we will be, maybe we won't be. But I want to just point out, and I know we've talked about this in previous podcasts, but we make a huge investment every single year on our business for our customers.
Yep.
the new post line, the truss upgrades, the saw upgrades, so we can be faster and more efficient. The, the metal line upgrades, the, going around everything that we offer, the barndominium collection, the designs, just so many things we do to invest in our business is for our customer. It's
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
our builder.
Right.
It's not for the homeowner. It's not for, we do it for our builder. We want to help you grow your business, and all of those things. Yes, they cost money. So if we're going to continue to do that, it we probably won't be the cheapest
Mm-hmm.
supplier in town, but we
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be. We want to provide solutions, and we want to have someone there to solve your issues on the job site, because we all know as builders, when you're on the job, you need solutions.
Right.
You don't need somebody that's avoiding you or not answering your phone or taking too long to get you what you need to finish your project up. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
come on back to Burrows if you left us. We will still love you. We'll still give you grace. We'll still treat you the way you want to be treated, and
Yeah.
you know,
And
maybe
let's have
lessons learned on both sides,
Yeah,
right?
and let's have real conversations with that, right? So
For
like
real. Hmm.
if you're like, "Hey, I went out and played the field a little bit and this is what I learned." Okay? I'm not asking you to come back and spy on my competition, right? But if you went over there and you're like, "Okay, they didn't do good here, 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 and here, but man, they did really, really good there." Tell me what they did well, right?
Hmm.
I, I'm I'm going to take advantage of every opportunity I can to be someone that you want to do business with. If there was something maybe you say, you know what, every time I went over there, they had iced coffee. If you need iced coffee, bro, I'll get you iced coffee, right? If you're like, hey, whenever I went over there, um, they had a cover for me in the summer. I could pull up in the shade and they loaded me in the shade. Cool. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but I will strongly consider it, right? So that's what I'm saying is sometimes it is okay to go out and see if the grass is greener on the other side. 9 times out of 10 it's not, right? But you may go, okay, the grass wasn't greener on the other side, but they had a really cool playground. Hey, they had a water faucet that was just a little bit taller, and since I'm a tall guy, I didn't have to bend over to turn it on. Like I'm being stupid, but it's
Yeah.
the reality, right? Like, tell me what you liked.
What you like? What didn't you like? What,
Yeah,
why did you go give it a try in the first place? Did we do something wrong?
yeah,
We want to know all those things, because we just want to do the best we can
hmm
for our
yeah,
employees, for our employee owners, for our clients,
yeah,
you know,
100%.
and your
And
clients.
I can tell you as the customer service front office manager and my team, we have the most visibility with our customers. We take your phone calls. We handle your call when you walk in to pick up your stuff. Like we are on the front lines between Burrows and our customers. Um, so I would say I feel it the most when we get something wrong. I feel it the most when we lose a customer. I feel it the most whenever a customer gets mad because maybe they didn't do something right, but they really hope it was us that did it wrong, right? Like I'm on the front end of that. It takes, how do I say this? It comes at a cost, and I'm not putting that burden on you as a listener, as a contractor. I'm not saying you're doing something wrong. What I want you to know is that we take it seriously and we feel it. Okay, so and I know you feel it too, right? Your customer, when something goes wrong, puts pressure on you, and you feel that. If it's your mistake, you own it. If it's their fault, you kind of still got to own it, right? A little bit. Um, but we're in it with you. And what I would say is this: if we've learned anything from this year of trial and tribulation, um, maybe we learned how to be better communicators. Maybe we learned how to be a little more patient. Um, Maybe we learned to not let the small stuff take us off of the big picture, right? I hope I'm making sense. I'm probably
Hmm.
being a little vulnerable here from my job. It's been a rough year, right? I have felt the tension in our contractors with business isn't going like I thought, and I'm sure you felt the tension with your employees and whatever you've got going on. So maybe as we start thinking about the end of the year, and the beginning of the next. Let's take some time to reflect a little bit. And I don't want that to be like, ooh, Scott's being philosophical. But what happened? And what did I do well? What did I not do well? And what is a valuable nugget to take into 2026? And I would ask this, please, please be communicative with us as your supplier. We are here to see you be successful, because we're not if you're not. And I've said that before, and my gosh, like if you're watching, hopefully you can see it in my face. I'm looking at myself in my camera, I got like puppy dog eyes, right? But like, communicate, help us. We want to be helpful to you. But man, if I don't know what you need, and if I don't know what you want, then I'm just guessing. It makes it a lot easier if you tell me what you want, and you tell me what you need. And here's what I'm going to do, and that's part of this podcast. I'm going to do a better job of telling you what I want and what I need from you.
That's a good place to end this thing, Scott.
Yeah. Let's do better. We can. We're capable. We've got this.
We will.
We will. We will. All right. Well, hey, Josh, I probably talked too much. I'm so sorry, man.
Hey, this was a great podcast. I think as I was listening to you, I'm like, I'm a listener at that point, and a lot of good points were made today, and I hope our clients appreciate that and listen to this podcast through all 26 and a half minutes.
All right, 26 and a half minutes. We're not going to make it to 27. All right, guys, thank you. Thank you for joining us. I throw it out there all the time. Email me, please. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you think, what you want, what you know. Scott, you can do better. Hey, I can take that. Good with it. So, hey, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, Josh, and we'll see you on the next episode of Post Frame 360.